I've never wanted to have sex with a pot pie, but like, I'd have sex with that pot pie.
We're all weak to stepping on nails.
Let me preface this by saying I wrote a script.
Daytona Beach is like 2 mild inconveniences from being a post-apocalyptic wasteland anyway.
So many of my tabs say semen.
Are you guys ready for this weird horny adventure that we're all about to go on?
You can't handcuff me for skanking.
This motherfucker gaslights you.
Diet Coke and Sorrow will be chapter 4.
And against all odds, Kyle, we became those swirly weirdos.
This whole podcast is a very negative mouthfeel.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everyone. More importantly, happy week between Christmas and New Year's, where time is irrelevant, responsibilities are nil, and euphoria is flowing like Christmas cookie calories into your mouth hole. Due largely to holiday travel and the aforementioned timey-wiminess of this week, we don't have a full episode for you today. Instead, we've cut together this little clip show of some segments from our extended Good Vibes. If you haven't heard, we added a $10 Patreon tier in October, which grants access to our show prep shared documents and to a Patreon-exclusive DT after show we call Extended Good Vibes. If you enjoyed these bits today, we'd love to have you join our Patreon, which you can do right now at patreon.com/debatethiscast. Next week, we'll release our Season 5 preview and debut our new Season 5 opener. Then we'll be back with our Season 5 premiere episode on January 11th. Until then, please enjoy these bits and have a safe and happy New Year. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to our Patreon post show, because we're just rolling right into these. So this is the first one, which means if it changes a lot over the course of time when we do more of these, don't be offended, because we never talked about what we were going to do during this time. We just said we were going to do it.
A dry
No, we certainly
run.
didn't.
You know how... Okay, so, hi, welcome to the after show. You know how sometimes when you see, like, Pokemon evolution charts, you're like, well, you missed one in between those two. I feel like that's Hoopa and Hoopa Unbound. I was like, oh, Hoopa, that's great. I'm sure the next thing is, like, a lankier Taffy Ghost. Nope.
It's an event Pokemon specifically tying into a movie. It's not... The rules don't apply. It's make it cool so dumb kids come beg their parents to spend $20 to watch the movie.
Dumb kids and Kyle.
And I have not watched any of the movies since Pokemon the first movie.
The accident
in theater. Well, I've watched 2 and 3. I've watched 3 of the 20 some odd Pokemon movies that have been made.
Well, they can't have Ash die in every single one, I guess.
Oh,
so.
they can.
Did any of you guys have a brick? Was I the only one with a brick?
Oh no, I
had a brick.
We had bricks.
I didn't.
Ah.
I had a Game Boy Pocket was my first one.
Growing up, like our family lived with my grandparents, and I specifically remember the Christmas that we got bricks. Like, I got one, my older sister got one, and talking about core memories. Sorry, my grandma doesn't listen to our podcast, but I remember my grandma specifically saying, like, "Oh, we can use these while we poop." Like, I remember, like, my sweet, like, 81-year-old grandmother to this day, like, who I go and visit and she's playing Candy Crush. Like, I vividly remember her saying, like, all right, like, you play these while you poop. And I was like, that's relevant still to this day.
Yeah. I got my original Game Boy used from my cousin at the recommendation of my kindergarten teacher, because she suggested to my mom that a video game would help my hand-eye coordination and therefore my handwriting.
Hell yeah.
And my mom still is mad at that teacher to this day.
Man, these are not shitty peripherals. These are life-changing peripherals. But I remember with my classic Game Boy, I had at one point in time attached to my Game Boy the Game Genie, which came with the small booklet of codes.
Yep.
And when you put the cartridge in, you had to put it in backwards to make it work. So I had the Game Genie. I also had the magnifying clip-on light glass.
Had that one too.
Yep. And then I had the power pack for extended battery life.
Because the magnifying light drained your battery in like 30 minutes.
I remember carrying like the Game Boy, that classic Game Boy already was hefty. And like this made it 3 times heavier.
I had a suite of enhancements for my Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Not the brick, but the color.
Same. Yeah.
went through a ton of them trying to find the best way to play my Game Boy in the back seat of a car.
Oh yeah, just straining your eyes.
After 5:30 p.m. in the winter months.
Yeah.
Because you can't drive with the light on in the back. It's illegal.
It's illegal.
It's illegal.
Yeah, it will make you crash.
There's types of like horror that I just can't let myself think about because it's so unsettling.
I mean, like there's nothing more to that movie than the concept. Is what everyone I've ever told me about it is like it's the whole thing is set up and payoff of mad scientist sews 3 people's mouths to someone's butthole.
This would be a great topic if Patreon members, if you have feelings of the depths of the plot of the Human Centipede series, please let us know.
And then Human Centipede 2 and 3 didn't take it any further, except I think adding more people to the centipede. So
twice and 3 times as many.
Yeah, that's the whole franchise.
They sewed the butts together this time, Kyle. Bad news, man.
It's like a push me, pull you.
And then the South Park episode.
Yeah, the Centipad.
Human Centipad made it about how no one reads the terms and agreements.
And now everyone in our generation thinks of that when they see the terms and agreements.
I mean, honestly, like probably one of the best episodes of South Park ever. Like,
it's pretty good.
I came to this after show with a couple of discussion topics. The first of which I'm the most excited about. What was your best squirt gun that you had? What was your favorite or best squirt gun?
I'll start since I brought up the squirt gun battles or the super soaker battles in our street. So I lived on I lived at not in a cul-de-sac, but the end of a plan where like it just wasn't developed past a certain house, so it was just like immediately woods.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't have brothers and sisters. It was just like the neighborhood kids. So I distinctly remember one, like there must have been like 14 kids involved in like a total of like 3 whole streets. Like it was crazy. We had like buckets and buckets of water balloons, but I had this super soaker gun. I think I got it for Christmas, where it like, I'm trying to describe it, but basically it was a lever that you like cranked back, and it had 2 barrels on it.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
And I swear to God, like this thing, and it weighed like 25 pounds. Like in order to pump it, I'd have to put it on the ground because I was also the small and round neighbor kid. I'd have to like put it on the ground and like pump it straight up in the air because I didn't have any leverage on my small, frail, supple frame.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'd have to plant myself like on the deck by the hose because it didn't have any mobility. But yeah, it was really fun because we would do like game types where it was like capture the flag and shit. So I would play defense with this like whatever this like mortar of a super soaker was.
Okay, but
That's really cool.
and the problem with an updated U-Force, someone's gonna put their penis in it.
Someone's gonna put their
Someone's
penis in it.
absolutely
Someone's gonna put their penis in it.
PP in the
Someone's
U-Force.
super gonna put their penis in the U-Force. Oh, gross.
Make your own stupid Rage comic with, because Rage Comics hadn't died yet by 2013.
Man, you guys remember Rage Comics? I'd much rather talk about Rage Comics than bit strips.
Do I remember Rage Comics?
Kyle,
think
always online Harper.
It was just when I moved from the last house I lived into this house, so 2 years ago, when I threw away my Me Gusta t-shirt that had the Me Gusta face on it.
Oh, Matt, you owned Rage Comics merch.
It was a gift. It was a gift from another fraternity brother, but I did own a Me Gusta t-shirt that I wore a lot in college.
That's almost as embarrassing as these 2 things that happened in 2013. One is Lance Armstrong admitted to using banned substances, and Paula Deen admitted that she used racial slurs.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I did not put those in order of worst to best. I want to make that clear.
You guys doing that Jecht voice made my throat so scratchy.
I was going to say, you don't sound like you've recovered from that.
No.
That
It was
was
3 seconds of voice work.
Oh my
Eject
gosh.
shot right into my fucking lungs.
Gross. Gross. What?
Hey, welcome to the after show,
Oh,
everybody.
everybody.
Thanks for coming by.
Speaking of things you find on Urban Dictionary,
Man.
I was really determined today to break out of Marvel and DC. And so I had a couple of Image comic characters that I was going to do. The first one was going to be Savage Dragon, who I just learned existed today. I knew nothing of Savage Dragon before I Googled Image comic book characters, but I was going to do a Dragon type gym because Dragon. And then there's another Image Comics character called Iron Patriot. Or I'm sorry, Steel Patriot, I think it is. Hold on. Now I gotta Google because I don't want to. I think it's Iron Patriot. Nope. Yep.
Isn't Iron Patriot?
Iron Patriot is
Don Cheadle
is just the Iron Man armor with red, white, and blue.
Yeah. That is
Spackle
originally
on it.
Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Okay,
dark
so
green,
it's
yeah.
my bad. It's Steel Patriot. Or Super Patriot.
Oh my god.
Not even a metal.
Got
God,
it.
I'm the worst. What's funny is that I literally have a Super Patriot comic like in my desk right beside me.
I'm
Don't stop
almost
the recording.
100% positive Todd made a Dragula reference the last time
I think
he
I did.
Metal Dragula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, hey, I pulled it up. It was episode 16. Werewolves don't always wear jorts.
Oh my god.
I remembered the title. I didn't remember the number.
And fun fact that is relevant to all three of you, and also my buddy Nathan. So the last time I actually referenced Metal Draculas was when I did that D&D mini side quest for you three and Nathan, December 29th, 2019. So I made it almost 2 years.
Dang.
I was jonesing.
Nerf is one of the few brands from our childhood that seems to have gotten more dangerous than safer.
Yeah.
Like where everything else, like eventually a lawsuit happened and they had to be like, okay, you can't pump your super soaker until it shoots like 4,500 psi. Nerf seems to have streamlined and like it might not shoot as hard, but like the darts are like substantial now. They're not.
They got a little plastic
Foam.
tip on them.
Yeah.
You know why I think that is? Because a huge Nerf market are startups. Like
Yeah.
every startup. I mean, we used to have them when I started at my current job. Every startup office that has like less than 100 people, I guarantee you, has a kegerator and a bunch of Nerf guns.
Which is something.
Maddie and I have a twin pair of Nerf guns for the house, so
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
His and hers, Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah.
Smith action.
From 2008 to 2012, the like we have Nerf fights in the office was definitely a thing.
Matt and Todd, just curious, what was the last Pokemon game you guys finished? Not started, finished.
I assume you don't mean Pokemon Snap for the N64, because that was the last actual game that I finished that was Pokemon titled. Pokemon Red was the only one, and I'll tell you why. So I had Blue, and I played through a lot of Blue. I was just kind of too young to completely like enjoy the nuance of the different Pokemon. And then I got Pokemon Yellow, and I really, really liked it. I think the concept that Pikachu follows you around, until I tried to evolve it into a Raichu, and it wouldn't. And it gave
And
when
Todd
you when
swore
you
off the series altogether.
yeah, when you try to give it the Thunderstone, it shows you like a little like sepia black and white clip back then of Pikachu just shaking its head no. And I was like, this is some 6th grade bullshit, and I'm out. And I stopped playing it at that point. I was like, I'm not playing the same game again, but with Pikachu following me. Also, why can't it be any of the other Pokemon? I want it to be one of those Pokemon following me. So then I just stopped.
I am looking at the Wikipedia page for Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and two things that stand out to me are Clowns is spelled with a K in the
It is.
title,
Oh,
Perfect.
and the lead character's name is Mike Tobacco,
Yep.
which is absolutely amazing.
Listen,
Wow.
if Killer Clowns is still on Netflix, Killer Clowns is an absolute must watch for any Halloween season. It's
is it?
Todd,
Made
I'm
it
telling you
through-
this.
I'm nearing my 34th Halloween season. I just want to make sure.
Okay, it's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
You can watch it on Hulu.
Oh my
Um,
god.
I'm telling you, like, as far as bad 80s, like, neon bright slasher flicks go, Killer Clowns is really, really in a league of its own.
So the guy that played Dean Warmer in Animal House is in this movie, which I was like, where have I seen John Vernon before? It's motherfucking Dean Warmer. Also, I think I'm gonna change my Discord tag to Grant Kramer as Mike Tobacco.
A fun note from the Wikipedia: it was released May 27th, 1988. It was put on VHS. 13 years later. Like in 2001, they put it on VHS. Not like when they could have put it on VHSs in the 90s.
Well, it missed the first. It was too early for the first like real wave of VHS,
Sure.
and then
Yeah.
why would you put a probably 5 to 7 year old movie on VHS in the early 90s when that trend was happening? And then as
Well-
they ran out of things to put on VHS, they dug this up and added it.
Great news for Matt. Following that trend of waiting over a dozen years, 17 years later, in 2018, Arrow Films released a special edition Blu-ray, and it has restored interviews, documentary featurettes, clown auditions. When again they spell clown with a K.
Wow.
There's bloopers, deleted scenes, and a double-sided poster.
Neat.
I'm into
Because
it.
posters should have two sides.
But did you guys ever play a game in the 90s called Jake the Snake? Or is this a like My Country Bumpkin ass kind of
Is,
thing?
you
is this
explain
like
it?
is this like Nightcrawlers? Is this a Charlie Day thing?
No, so the reason I thought of it is because it's effectively Todd's put quarters in a sock. So what you would do is you would put a tennis ball or like rocks in the end of a tube sock, and you would tie it to like a 12-foot piece of twine, and then everybody would stand in a circle, and one person would be in the middle of the circle holding the end of the twine, and you'd spin around to like spin your meteor of rock
God.
sock around, and everybody in the circle would have to jump over Jake the Snake or duck under it. And if you got hit with the sock, then you became the person in the middle. Is that just a me thing?
That's just a you
never-
thing.
Just you
It sounds
Okay, well, it's
awesome.
kind of fun. It's pretty cool.
Sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to come over and put quarters in a sock.
I'm good over here, I think.
It feels like if you disguise that as CrossFit, Todd would probably do it.
I would not.
That's true.
I would not.
Yeah, if you had to. Okay, Todd.
Nope.
What if I said that it was recreational burpees?
You picked like the least nice thing about
Fucking got him.
CrossFit. No, he didn't. Shut up.
So off of that tangent, then, Todd or Andrew, do you guys have a stupid, dangerous childhood game that you're pretty sure only you played? Because ours was called Run, Slide, and Do Swirlies, where we would roll down a hill and try and stop our child bodies from going in the pond that was at the bottom of the hill. That was a game.
no, we
that
didn't
was
do
like
that.
a
Ow.
month's worth of entertainment.
You know what we did? So it's not really a game, but I do remember. I distinctly. So, like I said, I grew up in a housing plan that was unfinished. Which like again, like ours was the last lot before the woods. So we just spent every day in the like unclaimed lot next to the house.
Hanging
So
out
I
in
was
the
like,
unclaimed lot with my friends.
yeah, like whatever. So I was constantly getting poison ivy and everything. I mean, just
Yeah.
every fucking month. And for a while, right after they built the development, because I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania, everything is on a hill, and our development was built on like a series of small hills, and we were at the top, right? So behind our bunch of houses, there was just like a steep hill down to the next block of houses, and so on and so forth. There was a tree that grew this like pretty big vine behind the back of the houses, and the neighborhood kids would swing on the vine that was directly overlooking a hill.
You would swing on the vine out over the drop off of the hill, would you let go of the vine and then roll
You
down
weren't
the hill?
supposed to. But let me remind you, my father, God rest his soul, wanted me to be an athlete, but also, like, in his defense, knew that I never would be and had come to terms with that very early in life. However, he knew his son's limits. and I must have been 8. And he's like, Andrew, I know that the other kids are going on the vine. You shouldn't go on that vine. And I was like, okay, Dad. I went on the vine. Now, remember, Kyle, you were supposed to hold on. I didn't climb the rope in gym. I didn't
have the upper body strength to
the
hold
upper
on?
body strength. So my glasses like flew off, and as I slid down the vine and just rolled down the hill.
Nice.
And that was the last time that 8-year-old Andrew, went on the vine. Also, they cut down the vine after.
Aw.
Cool. Well, see you next week, everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye.